What is a tree without branches? Merely an ugly looking stump. Similarly, Git without branches is merely a glorified file versioning system. Final, final 2, really final 3, really final, trust me this time, 2. So let's dive into Git branches and how they will help you and your team in your development. You know what branches is? Tell me more. Branches are used to isolate code to minimize development conflict and ultimately providing you as a developer a safe space for you to work on without affecting other people. In this drill, we are going to look at how to create a branch off an existing branch, how to commit to that branch you just created, how to push commits to a remote repository like GitHub, and how to create a peer review in GitHub and then merge your code into the root branch that you merged off of. So before we begin, let's take a look at a common branching strategy that people adopt. So here we have a very simple branch strategy. These branches correlate to a specific environment. So, you know, in your organization or if you're developing, you may have a dev branch, a staging branch, or a production branch, and they're all different environments. So they live on different servers just for testing purposes. So as a developer, when you work on a feature, the first step is you branch off of the dev branch. And then now, once you have that branch set up, you can actually commit to your branch. So you work on the feature, you add whatever feature that you need, and then you add a commit. Then you work on it some more, stay up late, get the functionality working, and then you add another commit. And let's just say at this point, you're very confident that your branch works, the feature is added, and then you want to merge it back into dev. You merge it back into dev by creating a peer review. In GitHub, there's also a peer review. Stash provides that as well. There's a lot of different peer reviewing systems, but the concepts remain the same. You create a peer review so that your peer can review the code that you just created, and then that it's up to par. Now, once your branch hits the dev branch, gets merged in. Furthermore, testing, it goes downstream into your staging, then into production, and ultimately released. And hopefully you're not testing production, but you get the point. There's a lot of testing that happens after your code gets merged into these specific branches. So in this video specifically, we are going to focus on this portion right here. Branching off of that branch, committing, and then creating a peer review and merging your code into the dev branch. So let's get to it. Okay. So I have this very simple project here on the left side, which has an entry point file here as a .mjs, which is an ES6 module. It's importing this human interactions module, which essentially defines some of the human interactions that we do when we meet each other. Ask who you are, respond to who am I, say hello. And then essentially the entry file just calls these functions with the correct parameters. So let's say if I run this code, it's actually working. There we go. Who are you? I am Groot. Hello, Groot. So let's just say I want to add a feature now where in this human interactions module, I'm going to update the say hello function to be more personalized for Groot and give him a more exciting welcome. So referring back to the Git branching strategy, the first step is we're going to branch off of the dev branch. So let's go back here to the terminal and verify that we're in the dev branch. So indeed, as you can see, we're in the dev branch here. And if you go back to GitHub, you'll see that we have 3 branches here: master, dev, and staging. And these are all in sync, meaning they're at the same commit. So this is 648, 648, 648. In your real life, that's probably not as important for those commits to be in sync, because you know there's multiple developers merging in stuff at different times. But I'm just showing you a very basic case right here. So once you check out to dev, you branch off of this by running this command: git checkout -b, and then you give it whatever name you need to. So I'm gonna name this update say hello to Groot. The branch name can be anything. I just added this as an identifier. So usually, you know, if you have like a project management tool, you'll put it with like a ticket number or something along those lines, whatever your organization has adopted. I'm going to create that branch, and now that creates a local branch. So It'll get log. You see, it's locally. Gotta get log. I have to get status on branch feature, and the feature 001. So locally, I am now in this branch. But if you actually refer back here, refresh this page, your branch actually hasn't been pushed to GitHub yet. So you need to push this local branch to GitHub. And in order to do that, you run this command: git push set upstream dash set upstream, or you can just do a -u origin, which is our remote repository, and then you give it the same branch name. Copy paste this. Now, once you run that, the U flag is not actually known. That's because it's not a --u, it's just U -u. I'm gonna give it a password. Now at this point, if you refresh this page, you're gonna see your branch now. There we go. Our branch has been updated. So now GitHub knows this branch exists, and then locally it knows that this is the branch that is actually tracking on the remote server. So from here on, we're gonna make the changes that we need. So like I said, we're gonna make this a personalized hello for Groot specifically. So switch statement here, case Groot. Then we say, I love you, Groot. And for everyone else, we're just gonna leave the same response, just hello. We're not as excited as we are with Groot. There we go. So now let's save that and let's verify that this is actually a working code. So when I run index.mjs, who are you? I'm Groot. I love you, Groot. That actually worked. So let's just say we change this out to hello. Then we should just see a very bland hello. Oh, sorry, not hello. Let's just say it's world. We're just gonna see a very bland hello world. You've seen this a million times. Hello world. Let's change it back to Groot. So now I'm happy with my feature. This is indeed the feature that I'm going to merge back into development. So once you're done with development and have validated that everything is working correctly, we need to push this change to GitHub. So how do we do that? So do a git status, and you'll see the change is not staged for commit. So Git has acknowledged that something has changed in your code, and you have to acknowledge this. In order to do that, so you add the changes. So in this case, it's index.mjs. Once you add it, do another git status, and you'll see this is the change that has been staged to be committed. In order to confirm that, what you do is you git commit with a commit message, added Groot into the say hello function. Once you commit, do another git status. You won't see anything here because it already has been committed. Do a git log to actually see that it has been committed correctly. As you can see, this is A32DD. But at this point, like I said, everything is just local right now. So when you go back in GitHub, in your GitHub server, it's not going to see your changes because you haven't pushed any changes to the remote repository. In order to push your changes, you need to run this command: git push origin, which is your GitHub repository, with the branch name. Once you run this command, it's going to push all of your commits to the branch in GitHub. So if you open up GitHub again, and then refresh, this is your branch indeed, and now look at that, A32DD. Let's look at the commit history. Added Groot into the say hello function. And if you actually look at the code, there we go. We see all these changes. So at this point, GitHub now knows that you created these changes. So in order to merge this back in, so at this point, let's just say we're good to go. We want to merge it back into dev, and we're going to use the GitHub peer review system in order to achieve that. So here in GitHub, click on this pull request button right here, or menu right here, and then you can create a new pull request. Create a new pull request, and at this point you have to select your branch, feature 001. Now be aware here, so by default the master branch is selected, but we didn't branch off of master, we branched off of dev. So you select dev. This could be a problem if your master branch is in a constant state of flux, right? If it's constantly changing, then there could be potential merge conflicts and things like that. I mean, that includes dev as well. But the general rule of thumb is wherever you branched off of, you merge it back in. That's a general rule of thumb. It doesn't encompass all scenarios, but it's a good rule of thumb to go by. We're going to merge this back into dev. We're going to create a pull request and then create that pull request. Once that pull request has been created, you see right here, been created. You can just click on it, and then you can see the files that have changed, and you see indeed this is the change that I made. And then the commit history. Now the point of peer review is for your peers to look at your code and make comments. Right, so right here you can press this plus button. Let's just say I'm another developer, and I look at this code and say, hey, all caps, really? And you can start a conversation, right? You can like start a review here. You can come back and say, yeah, I like root. You know, you can have a conversation. You can add comments, good stuff. Add a comment. And this is the whole point of peer review. You can interact with your peers while looking at your code, and you know, they can comment on your code. You can respond. You can say, hey, this isn't an efficient way to do it. Let's do it this way. And you can start that discussion. And it's a very good way, you know, for someone else to look at your code and then give you a lot of feedback. Even if you're a single developer, I would recommend you creating peer reviews because it just gives you a good history. You know, you can just pull up all the peer reviews that you did. It's just very convenient. So let's just say everything's all good. Peer review, everyone looked at your code and they all approved it. You can, you know, let's just submit, let's just resolve some of these. So resolve this conversation, say everything is good. And now we can merge our changes into dev. And you do that by clicking this button here. So the 3 different merge strategies, so these are out of scope. These are a little bit more of an advanced topic. Squash and merge, basically you squish all your commits into one commit. Rebase, you play your commits onto the main branch. In general, let's just leave it as a default one right here, which will create another commit based on all the commits that you had. So it's going to create a new commit. So yeah, leave that as is. And once all the review is done, all the testing is done, you would just press this button and you confirm merge. Pull request successfully merged and closed. You're all set. So now at this point, you see it's been merged. And in order to reflect that on your local system, do a pull so that it can download all of the branches and update all of the head. And if you check out the dev, your branch is behind origin dev by 2 commits. The reason why is because you have your original commit that added the root functionality, and you have your merge commit when you press that merge button. You get pull here to pull the most recent changes, and then do a git log just for verification. dd03. Let's look at the dev branch. dd03. Indeed, now all your changes have been merged into dev. So we've covered essentially this portion right here. So after on in that point, you know, the dev going to staging production, this is all depending on your company, right? There's different pipelines, you know, people have different AWS pipeline setups. So some people, you know, run automated tests when it merges into dev. Some people run like integration testing when it's into dev automatically. Sometimes it's just manual tests. So it all depends on a different situation, but the concepts remain. Branch off dev, make your commits, branch back into dev, and then your development cycle for that feature has been complete as a developer. So thank you for listening. I hope you learned something new. That's it. That's a very basic use case of GitHub branch of Git branches. Thank you for listening. All right, if you guys enjoyed that video, please like, comment, and subscribe. Like, comment, and subscribe. Like, comment, and subscribe. Wait, how long am I doing this? Like, comment, and subscribe. Like, comment. Okay, I'm done.